Jobu Tupaki versus the Scarlet Witch.
This one is for the teacher who passed me the math test face down and didn't think I was going to become successful. This is for 9 times 9 equals 81.
You will never amount to anything. We shall see, brother.
Let's go! Alright, what's going on, everyone? This is Zen here from Zen Multiverse, and I hope you're having a great day. So it is time. Finally, I released 2 videos, one on Jobu Tupaki from the movie Everything Everywhere All at Once, and another video on the Scarlet Witch from the MCU about both of them for their powers and abilities. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a final analysis, and this isn't me going over their powers again, right? This is me going into the comment section and reading some things that I even forgot about their abilities, and my final analysis on who I think would win too. So here we go. Let's get started. We're gonna scroll over to the Jobu Tupaki video, right? And we know that she is someone who can basically jump her consciousness from one version of herself to another version of herself, but at the same time she can transport a set of abilities from other versions throughout the multiverse to her current state that she's inhabited, right? So the version of joy that she's in. But let's look at some of the comments and see what the comment section says. So we have here, don't forget to don't forget to support the channel. All right, that's not a comment that's really bound by that process, right? But yeah, please don't forget to like and comment too your final analysis after this video. So we have Bob's Burgers, and he said, in the apartment, it is shown she is aware of every possible sequence of events that could occur when she told Evelyn to hit her. Let's go on more. Also, in Evelyn's God montage, where she flickers from her past forms, there is a universe where Evelyn is literally the Milky Way. The Milky Way. And I went back to see this, right? And I did see exactly what Bob's Burger is talking about. Also, in the ending scene, shows them as planets colliding, right? So there's a lot, and so I say amazing points, and some of them I definitely missed. Jobu Tupaki is an absolute beast. All right, so then we have Z Earth, who commented with a little bit of spoiler, but just really rad information. And he said, or she said, considering she created the Everything Bagel in an attempt to destroy herself, she clearly has no concrete idea of what it would take to do herself real lasting harm. And this is another great point, right? And I say she may be unkillable, especially if she can't destroy her consciousness, right? Because all she needs is her consciousness. Now Joseph said she's an SCP Keter class or Keter class reality bender. Now I did some research on this, right? And this is about yesterday. I did the research at the time of this recording. I looked it up in comparison to the SCP verse, so it's pretty awesome. And these are just the class that he speaks of is just high levels of reality benders themselves, right? And this is what Jobu Tupaki is. So let's go on to see what else we have. So we have a comment from Slinks Slipper. I'm pretty sure I butchered your name, so I apologize for that. I want to make sure to give everyone credit who helped me for the final analysis and who I think would have won. So Jobu Tupaki has literally infinite power, and he gives examples to back up his claim. Let's say, for example, she takes an ability from the universe where a godly martial arts was invented. She would then literally take it, right? So remember, many world theories and multiverse theory states for every, or many worlds theory really states for any possible decision that you have made can lead to another world, right? So if that's true, that there's an infinite possible versions of joy, which is Jobu Tupaki, right? And in this sense, if there was a godly martial arts that could pretty much counter anything, she can tap into it. Or if there was a version of joy who gets telepathy, Jobu Tupaki can tap into it. Or if there's a version of her who gets all these fantastical powers where she becomes God, she can tap into this as well, right? Because she is everywhere. She is everything, everywhere, all at once, right? So Jobu Tupaki is pretty powerful. All right, but let's continue. So from what's stated here is from GM King, sorry if I pronounced your name wrong, Jobu is literally infinity. I love the Scarlet Witch, but she can't even physically cross another universe. No debate here. And this is really referencing the movie version of Scarlet Witch, okay? So not to be confused with the comic book version of herself, right? All right, let's continue. We have some more, right? All right, so, and I reply and say, yes, and Jobu's abilities are very natural for her to use, almost second nature. Because in the movie, when we see her, she's, it's not as if she's using her powers and seem like she doesn't know how to use it, right? She pretty much can tap into any venue of her abilities at will at any given point in time. And it makes sense. Why? Because she's everything, everywhere, all at once at the same time, right? All right, so here's just a comment from my son, literally my son, Gaming with Baki. Check out his channel, and he just says this is so cool. And then Atticus Finch gives a really cool kind of like just his comment in saying, I don't think it's possible to kill her. She was shown to be able to inhabit unadamant objects. If she can put her consciousness into a literal rock, then she doesn't need a live body. She can swap reality as well, so she's probably immune to aging. And this I definitely missed, and I said love this comment and totally missed this element when I was giving my first breakdown. I will make sure to include it in this follow-up video and credit you / add you, right? And this is me now, current version, given my my gratitude and my credit to Atticus Finch, right? Really cool that yes, she is shown to inhabit a rock, right, along with her mom, and that is, she shifted her consciousness into it itself, right? So it's pretty baffling, right, her abilities so far, but let's continue anyway. Here we go. So Lord Clint C says, MCU Scarlet Witch? Question. Jobu Tupaki for the win. It's a wrap. She's too powerful. Theoretically, she could bring abilities from all of herselves at the same time. And then I go on to say, I agree 100%. Definitely go to my community tab to vote for Jobu T. As of right now, Scarlet Witch is in the winning poll battle. And Nickel Lamar also backs up Lord Clint C and says, yes, Jobu Tupaki can defeat Wanda. And then we have then we have Dai Sasuke, and I totally missed these comments too, so let me like them now while we're here. I don't know how I missed these. And Daisuke 910 says, easy, change the Scarlet Witch to weak Wanda or bring her to Pinata universe and then clap her. Jobu basically immune to any harm. She can change her blood to ketchup seamlessly. Organic. I love these comments. All right, let's go on. So let's switch over now. We're gonna switch over to the Scarlet Witch video. Powers and abilities. So I have I collect a lot, and he said, such a powerful character. This is about Scarlet Witch. Such a powerful character. She had Thanos beat until he had to rain hell on everyone, including his allies. The comic book version is no slouch either, and definitely right. The comic book version as a whole is a brand new level, right? And I simply replied, very powerful character. She definitely, I spelled that wrong, was gonna beat Thanos, and we all knew as well, right? And Thanos at the time did not have the gauntlet, right? The gauntlet that contains the Infinity Stones. So a little bit different in the sense of where we could power scale. And about 33 minutes ago from the time of this recording, Nickel Lamar went onto the video and said, like, we need the Jobu Tupaki versus Scarlet Witch battle. I got you, my boy. I got you. And then we have Legend of Ari, who just restated some of the information that I put in the video, because I think that she was shown to teleport one time or less, and Legend Ari said she teleported in the finale as well. And I think this is in reference to WandaVision, okay? And I went back and saw it, right? So she has a lot of different feats. So now, team, it seemed like I didn't really have a lot to say for Scarlet Witch, right? She does have many abilities, but not as many commented on that video, and that's just because of how the video did, not because now she's more or less more powerful, right? Things of that nature. So now let's go on to the community tab for this video so that we could see how folks voted, right? Now there were 2 votings, and one I'm gonna go back to in a little bit and check, and I'm gonna edit all of this, so all of that good stuff. We're gonna check some things. Here we go. So we're going to the community tab, and I put up a couple of polls at the time of this recording, so some other videos might come out, but let's do a live look at it, right? So recently I just did a Spawn versus Scarlet Witch video, and right now Scarlet Witch seems to be winning, and a couple others. This is just me going through this is why the community tab is so important, because I really use this in my final analysis for videos. So here it is, 13 days ago. Who would win? We have 32 votes, not too many, but just enough, right? And the Scarlet Witch from the MCU seems to be winning, 53% to 47%. Okay, so that's how that is doing in terms of like where folks just kind of believe. But I also do it on Instagram too, right? So I'm gonna check the Instagram to see who is winning the battle here, right? Which is and then I'm gonna give you my final analysis on who I think would win. It doesn't mean that you have to agree. It just means, hey, here's who I think would win based on what everyone said, based on what I've seen in the movies, and potential. And I'll explain all in a bit, okay? While putting on some cool edits and all kinds of things, so you're not just looking at my forehead the whole entire time. So while I'm looking for this, let me pause the video. All right, so we're back. So I just brought up the Instagram. Let me just take a quick screenshot of it, because I'm gonna like edit it into the video, or I'm just gonna like zoom in as I'm showing it. So this one is the Instagram, which is my comic book Instagram. Check me out on Instagram and follow me there. Had a unanimous. Whoa, this one was not even close to the YouTube one, and this one was. And I stated it, right? I know you guys want to see it. I said this is a battle that I will be making a video on. Vote below. And it is Jobu Tupaki versus the Scarlet Witch. And as you can see, bringing it close, Jobu Tupaki definitely won this. It was 80% of votes, 80% for Jobu Tupaki, and 20% for the Scarlet Witch. And in total we had over, let me see if I could still check, can't still check, but at the time it was about over 50 people who voted. So now let's get into the final analysis. Here we go, team. Who do I think would win between the two? All right, to give my final analysis on who I think would win in terms of abilities from the MCU version of the Scarlet Witch versus Jobu Tupaki, I am going to go with Jobu Tupaki. And here's the reason why, and I think you all know from my analysis of both videos, and there is no bias between the two characters, because I'm not really like, whoa, these are my two favorite characters. That all has nothing to do with it, but just rather their abilities and potential use for what we've seen. Now, going by Scarlet Witch, she does have phenomenal abilities that includes her psionics and also her reality warping. But again, we're talking about the MCU version of the Scarlet Witch herself. Now, she can dreamwalk, meaning that she can inhabit another consciousness of herself in a dreamwalk state, but she needs to use dreamwalking, which takes some form of preparation in order for her to use. Now, it's not to say that the other versions that she can dreamwalk into have various abilities, but seemingly they all have similar abilities, but that's not to say that they all do have. We only seen her inhabit one version of this. Now, also, we did see her reality bend on a small pocket scale, meaning the town of Westview, which is pretty phenomenal and pretty powerful itself. Now, we can conclude with her use, or we can surmise with her use and her immersion of the Darkhold itself, which was created by a dark entity called Chthon, that now she can reality warp on a grander scale. But we know that she cannot reality warp any farther than that, because she would have, as a plot device, in order to get Billy and Tommy, right? Now, the question that a lot of people may have is that, but we've seen her do reality bending to create life and things of that nature. So why didn't she just simply do that in the movie? Well, here's the thing. she needs to be she needs to have an emotional rise in order to tap into her abilities on a deeper level, because she could have simply just created her kids. But alas, I digress a little bit, because we're talking about if they were in a fight, right? But I mentioned that for a reason, to give some kind of argument for why potentially Scarlet Witch could win, even though my analysis is that she isn't, right? She isn't going to win against Jobu Tupaki. Now, again, she has a lot of different abilities, right, that are showcased through psionics, and also she can teleport, right? She can teleport. This is seen in WandaVision. And she can reality bend, right? And she can resurrect, okay? She can resurrect life itself, or not really resurrect. She can create life itself, or give some form of emulation to a prior version of oneself, right? And we know that because she does that for Vision, and she also creates life through Billy and Tommy. So she's astronomically powerful, but she is bound to her emotions, right? And definitely argue with me in the comment section over this. But while she has trained with the Avengers, and she can be a high level tactician, she doesn't lend herself to being a capable person who can overcome a threat who is on par with her or greater than her. We know this because she lost in the movie, because someone basically in the Multiverse of Madness, someone basically, not to give spoilers, but I think we're at a point where I could give spoilers. She was basically convinced to stop. She was convinced, right? And this is the same for Jobu Tupaki, but that was her mom. So anyway, just going into her prowesses, she can fight, right? She can fight because she's trained with the Avengers. But now let's go into Jobu Tupaki and why I think she would win. Now, Jobu Tupaki doesn't need to dreamwalk. She can inhabit a version of herself through I would say a consciousness shift, right? She could just shift into a brand new consciousness. But she also can bring the abilities from any version of herself throughout the whole entirety of the multiverse, which is seemingly an infinite possible versions of herself in an instant, right? And she could also do this in combination. Now, throughout the movie, she does use the she does create the everything bagel. While it is very comedic, at the same time it's basically everything throughout the whole entire of the multiverse, which is the infinite amount of possibilities, in order to create a bagel that could hopefully kill her, right? Does it work? No, it doesn't work. But she surmised that this may be the thing to really take her up, because no one truly understands her. Now, everything that we've heard in the comment section is very true. She can tap into a version of herself. She doesn't need to set up a seance, right, or a spell like Scarlet Witch in order to bring in abilities to herself or to transport her consciousness, right? She can do it in the blink of an eye, right? And if this is true, then her fighting the Scarlet Witch shouldn't be too hard. Now, again, I really wanna bold this comment in saying we're not talking about Jobu Tupaki versus the Scarlet Witch from the comic books. We're talking about Jobu Tupaki, which is a movie character, going against the Scarlet Witch from the MCU, right? The Marvel Cinematic Universe. And in this case, it would be no contest for Jobu Tupaki to win. But I know some of you are going to argue, and I'm open for that, because I'm open for folks to sway my opinion. But overall, my final analysis is that, I'm not going to go back to all the videos on what I said. Go back and see like the powers and abilities. And even though the Jobu Tupaki video was really short, you really can grasp the understanding of her powers. She can literally do anything, right? Or she could tap into anything, because she is everything, everywhere, all at once, right? So if you watch the movie, she is currently, when she goes against her mom, she's fighting her mom, but she shifts through realities, right? Or not shifting through realities, they're showing other versions of herself who are basically doing the same thing at the same time. So if Scarlet Witch was to destroy one version of Joy, another version of Joy can come. But here's another thing that I forgot, and a lot of people, no one commented it, but I forgot about this in my video of Jobu Tupaki. She can also inhabit other life forms as well. It's not just other versions of Joy. And I totally forgot about this, right? And we know this is true because in the beginning, she inhabits, if I'm not mistaken, and someone could correct me in the comment section, she does inhabit the body of the character who Jamie Lee Curtis is playing in the beginning of the movie. Yeah, so does she even need that to beat Scarlet Witch? No, because I'm pretty sure that there's a version of Jobu Tupaki or Joy in the multiverse that has the level of power that the Scarlet Witch has, if not beyond that too, right? And her current version is already beyond that because she makes the everything bagel. Now, we heard some folks in the comment section who brought up really good points. She can inhabit an inanimate object, which is really basically herself in part of the multiverse. But if that's true, there's no version that you can't actually destroy her consciousness, because she's everywhere in a seamlessly. Here's the thing. In order to destroy Jobu Tupaki, you would have to destroy infinity itself. Game over. And here's why. Because remember, we're talking about the multiverse, right? And many worlds theory. Now, if there's an endless possibility, because in the movie, they only showed a map, right? They showed a map, but they could have kept going. They could have kept going on infinity level. There's an infinite amount of possibilities. Why? Because there's an infinite amount of choices that one can make. And if that's true, there's an infinite amount of joys and an infinite amount of consciousness to just jump through. So you can't really destroy the consciousness, because all of them are linked together. Because Joy, again, to kind of restate in the title of the movie, is everything, everywhere, all at once. Yeah. Sorry, Scarlet Witch, this one wasn't for you. Now, again, I know some of you are gonna think in comic book terms and say like, hey, she could just say no more joy, right? All right, she could say no more joy, but this is not the comic book version. And I even am really thinking it through. I'm not too sure if the comic book version will be able to beat Jobu Tupaki. Maybe not, right? That's a whole different argument, but definitely the MCU version, even at our current state of power in Doctor Strange 2 in the Multiverse of Madness with Rita in the Darkhold, can beat Jobu Tupaki from the movie Everything Everywhere All at Once. So let me know what you think about this video in the comment section. Do you agree with me? Do you not agree with me? Are you on the side of Jobu, or are you on the side of Scarlet Witch? No matter what, I appreciate both sides. I just love doing this, right? So, and some of you could probably sway my opinion in the comment section and make me want to make a part two, right? Like, I made a mistake, right? Or maybe not. And maybe we just go on to the next matchup, right? For Powers Discussed, we're going to do 2 more matchups. That's why I've been posting a lot of things, like to see where everyone thinks. So the next one may be on Mecha Godzilla versus the Dragon Zord, who we think would win. But anyway, I'm ranting and I'm raving, and this video is about to go is well past 25 minutes. But I appreciate everyone in the comment section. I appreciate everyone on Instagram too. And I'm going to open up some of these polls to my TikTok, because my TikTok, which is just comic book bound, is surpassing um, both YouTube and also
Brutality.
That was fun!
Instagram too. So I want to make sure that all 3 communities of the Zen multiverse are in it, because we're all a team, right? But with that being said, this is Zen from Zen Multiverse, saying peace, love, and prosperity. If you're enjoying the content, you already know what to do. Drop a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I'll catch you all later for the next video. Be good to yourself and be good to others. Later, everyone.